Napa know-how.
The Napa guy knows not to judge a man by his car's multicolored paint job or absence of modern gadgetry. Who cares if it's technically old enough to vote and the windows are powered by the strength of your left arm? Your monthly payment is zero, and it'll stay that way. Because with over 500,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. She may not be pretty, but she's all yours. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
Hi, you guys. This is Good Deeds, and I'm Dr. Renee Sunday. I know you don't have to tell me you're having an awesome, a fabulous, a marvelous day. Yes, you are. People say, why you say that all the time? I said it because you are in your purpose. No, I'm not in my purpose, Dr. Sunday. Yes, you are, because let me tell you, no matter how you look at it, even though if you're having ups and downs, you're having trials and tribulations, you may be in a bad situation, okay, that you deem is bad. See, the first thing, we got to have the right perspective. And then the next thing we got to make sure we get out of that situation if that's what we think. You know, some things we actually need to get out of pretty quick, okay? If it's endangering our life or endangering somebody else that we're taking care of. You have to keep it in perspective now. As the kids say, we got to keep it 100, right? But the thing about it is, a lot of times we do all make what we say is mistakes. Well, okay, but we need to learn from that. We need to learn, and guess what? We need to keep it going. You know, I always say that. We got to don't stop, and we got to get it. That's what I have to tell you. You have to make sure that you don't stop, because guess what? I need you in your purpose. Yeah, because I cannot be in my purpose if you're not in your purpose. That's just the way it goes. This thing all works together. And what we have to realize, it's not about us. That's the thing about it. What you have been called to do, what has been predestined before you even thought of, you have a role to play, and all of us have a role to play. But we all are members of one body, meaning to help the whole world be in their destiny. That's what we have to do. And we have to always remember that it's not about you. That's what I'm saying. Number two, we have to have the right perspective. And then if it is a difficult situation, we need to make a breakthrough. We need to get out of it. We need to find help. You know, it's certain ways of doing things. Reach out to people. I'm a big person of reaching out. If you reach out to me and I don't know, I'm going to be honest and say, one, I don't know. Number two, boom, we're going to find the answer, okay? But we actually, that's what we do here at Good Deeds. Our whole goal is to help you go closer to your destiny, to actually help you shine your light to the world. And the light is your dream, goals, passion, your purpose. The thing that actually makes you tick, the things make you say, oh, I got to do this. I got to help mankind. I have to give back. I have to help someone take the need away, okay? But we actually, that's what we do here at Good Deeds, and I'm your actual host. I am Dr. Renee Sunday. I'm the platform builder. I'm also known as the Be Seen, Be Heard, Get Paid expert. But we have an awesome, fabulous guest today. I do not want to hold up the role any kind of way. I love her tagline that she actually says. She is the prison break coach, internationally known, okay? She going to help us find out what we need to break free from. I mean, serious, because certain things we have in our mind, you know, we actually putting ourselves in prison mentally, not even in physically, you know. And she's going to help us get free of that. Just a wonderful young lady, great platform, but she's internationally known as the Prison Break Coach. We have Miss Alicia T. Butler. Are you there?
Oh, hi, it's Allison. Yes.
Oh, Allison, well, please forgive me. Well, we've been
it's all right.
We've been pronouncing your name across the board, okay? That's one thing that doesn't happen when you send email. So, Allison, welcome to Good Deeds. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I do apologize for that. I'm real big on names, so I do. And I have a real good friend in high school named Allison, so wow. She spells hers different. You know how that goes. But let's get up, because I can't wait to get some of this great information. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, because I only tipped the iceberg, I know. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and the things that's going on in your life.
Yes, well, I am Known as America's Prison Break Coach, because I work with professional women who struggle with life setbacks, and I help them break free from their mental prison so that they can experience true freedom in their lives and in their business, mentally, spiritually, professionally, and relationally. And I do that by helping them recognize what is it that has them stuck. So you were talking a lot about purpose, and what I learned was I had so many personal setbacks in my life, and although I was created with purpose and I had great ideas, I was just on a path to destruction. Some of it of my own making, some I was born into, but what I realized was at the end of the day, I was responsible for creating my own reality, and how could I do that? How could I move beyond everything that I've been through, and it's been more of a mission now to show other women how to get out of prison too. Because a lot of times they don't even know that they're in prison, like you said. It's the mental prison. We're in prisons in our homes, on our jobs, in relationships that don't really serve us. We hate what we do. We want to do more. So that's what I do. And I built my life around it. I'm a certified life coach. And I spend most of my time empowering other women in any way possible.
That's so powerful. I hate to be real elementary, Allison, but
oh no,
I mean,
absolutely.
Like you said, so many people don't know if they're in prison. Kind of tell us what that actually means and how that actually shows up in the world.
Oh yes. Well, typically it starts with a feeling. We talk about those feelings that we have internally. So a lot of times it's just a gut feeling. Like, let's just say if I'm saying that you're in prison on your job, you pull up to the parking lot, it's time to go in, and you sit in your car for 5 minutes and you just got knots in your stomach. And you don't really want to go in, but you have to go in because you got to pay the bills. That's like in prison. Or when you pull up to your house and you don't want to go inside because of who's in there. Somebody that you invited into your space and they kind of, doesn't serve you well. Maybe you didn't know right away, but now you've learned and you don't know how to, and you don't even want to go home. You want to spend time out and wait until it's time for everybody to go to bed to walk into your door. That's how you know you're in prison. Or maybe it's just whatever keeps you up at night, like something is keeping you awake where you can't really sleep. And not because you have all these great things happening, but you really just have this feeling that you know that there's something in there. You may even have an idea of what it is, but you're just not doing it. You're not living a life fulfilled. That's pretty much the elementary version of how you know.
Wow. Now that's a whole segment right there to dive deep in that. But Lord, you said so much because I think they said I used to know that statistic off the top of my head, but with me being an anesthesiologist as well, they said most of the heart attacks and strokes are early in the morning and also between Friday evening, 5 o'clock, because you got to go home, and then you got to come back on Monday morning. Just the stress, Allison. Oh my Lord! But help us out with that, because I know that's what you do so wonderfully with your clients, and we're gonna make sure we have your information so we can actually get free too. But
yes,
the step further from that, from what you're saying. We don't want to go in the house. We don't want to go into the job. And you touched on it a little bit in your own personal life, and I can actually, and most people can say that, something in our past, unfortunate or unfortunate, however you want to look at it at this point, stemmed that or initiated or whatever word we want to use. Kind of talk about that, because I think a lot of people love to say, okay, the past did this, but how much of that we need to explore, and then how much do we need to, learn from? I know that's a whole section that we need to actually obtain your services for that. But in general, how can we start talking about that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the first, it's really identifying it. So, let's just say you're listening and you say, okay, Allison, that's me. I'm sitting in my car, or I don't want to go in, or I don't want to get that call, or whatever it is that you feel like is holding you back. You have to be able to identify where you are and embrace it. So, we do talk a lot about forgetting the past. And while that does have its place in certain aspects, it's more difficult to forget about it and then have it continue to come back up. So the best way to move forward is to embrace it. Say, it's okay. This is what happened to me. A lot of us, especially as women, it's things that have happened to us in our childhood, whether it was the way we were treated, the way we were spoken to, the names we were called, the abuse, whether it was physical, sexual, or just emotional. We have abandonment issues. All of these things carry over into our adult life, and they continue to drive us in every choice that we make every day, and it becomes something automatic. Have you ever found yourself in a place where you're here and you're like, how did I get here? Like, I knew that was the wrong thing to do, or I knew that was the wrong person to interact with, or I knew I shouldn't have. But what is it that drives us to continue to do that? And you do that by embracing it. Okay, I made a lot of mistakes in my life. You have to find a way to express it, whether it's to a person that you trust. For a lot of us, trust is an issue, so you can write it in a journal somewhere that no one's going to read it. And you really just start to talk about all these things about your past that you can embrace or you can admit to. Because if you're still in denial about it, or you're pretending that you didn't have a role in it, then it's still going to continue to come back and haunt you. So you have to really accept responsibility for your past and embrace it and be able to say, okay, yeah, I may not have been perfect, and maybe it wasn't all the other person's fault. I know I talk a lot about women in relationships because I've experienced that in negative relationships where, I would say, okay, yeah, he did this and he did that, or he left. But really, what was my responsibility in it? I may not have done the same things he did, but I allowed it. So that's my responsibility. I permitted it. When I first saw the warning signs, I continued on. So those are the kind of things that we have to embrace. And only then are we able to start to make the little steps to move forward, because if not, you're on autopilot and you're going to stay in that prison continually in a cycle. It's going to show up in your life in a different area, in a different person, but in the same way.
Girl, that's a whole, ladies and gentlemen, you don't realize how much great information you're getting right here. I mean, wow. But I have to say this, because this is just a caveat. Ladies and gentlemen, when she said little steps, speak on that, because some people want to do one session with you, Allison, and they think they're going to change, and it may happen. I'm not going to say it not happen, but the thing about it, and kind of talk on that, because some people think when we get your services, when we even go to counselors, coaches and stuff like that, they think that it's one. Okay, I get one session and that's all I need.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, Dr. Renee. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because a lot of times that's what we think. But that's why I know even in my personal life, that's why I ended up in the same place again and again. So think about it, right? Okay, think of that. I want everyone that's listening to think of that one challenge that you've had, whatever that one thing is that keeps creeping up in your life, and you say that you're never going to do it again, or it's never going to happen to you again, but it still just kind of finds its way. I want you to think of all the ways that you've already tried to do it. You've read the books, you've been to church, you've heard a good message, you've been to a counselor, a therapist, you've listened to different things over and over again, other teachings, you watch stuff on TV, we're plugged into Super Soul Sunday, we're like, oh yeah, this is it, I am ready, I am on fire. And then over time we creep right back in, and that's because we try to attack the problem at the issue, at the level of the problem. So if I have a problem, I can't attack it at the level of it that it's happening. So let's just say I always have a fight. I'm always argumentative and I always fight with people. So when I say attacking the problem at the problem level, I go into it, I read a book, I have a session, I listen to some information. I'm a little bit motivated, and now I say, I'm just not going to argue with people anymore. I'm going to just shut my mouth, and I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to listen. And when someone else says something that makes me upset, I'm just going to not say anything. And that might work a couple of times. But eventually it's going to stop because you're trying to attack it at the problem level. When you work with someone like myself, who is a certified coach, what we do is we help you get beneath the surface. Because until you can dig beneath why you really are getting so angry, you'll never be able to move past it, and it's always going to creep back up. So that's why it doesn't work with just reading a book or having a good message at church or watching something great on TV or hearing an empowerment speaker or even going to a workshop. It's continual work. And even when you get to a place where you feel like you've arrived, you still have to continue to duplicate it over and over again. So even after you've mastered some areas of life, there's still some areas where you're going to need help, and it's just a continual process throughout life. But when you work with someone to go to the deeper levels, those things become less and less a factor. So I look at the things that I've tackled in my own life. Yes. It doesn't mean that my life is without challenge, but I doggone sure don't stay in it long. Like if anger was my problem, I've worked at the deeper level. What really is the source? And now, if something arises that makes me angry, I'm not on autopilot. So now I'm more mindful, and my action supports the journey that I want to pursue.
Wow, that's powerful. Now, I'm going to say this because, ladies and gentlemen, you know I'm from Alabama. You know, in the South, we used to say whatever stayed in the house, like Las Vegas, whatever happened in the house, stay in the house, and whatever happened in Las Vegas, stay in Las Vegas. Yes. And that has actually, and I'm going to borrow your word, Allison, prisoned us. We really have. And the thing about it, what people don't realize, because, I'm a minister as well, so I tend to counsel people, grief and that, and purpose and, those things. The thing about it is, in whatever the setting, you can expose as much depending on the setting. And what I'm saying by that, a lot of times they say if you testifying in front of the church, that don't mean every intricate detail they want to hear. Yes. But when you're in the comfort of Allison and your one-on-one coaching that she had, offer, I mean, you really need to not, she's your friend. Let me put, that's number one I want to say. And number two, what stay in the house is not going to help you be breakthrough and to be able to walk into your purpose. Because nowadays, let me tell you something. McDonald's, we love the sign, and I'm going to say a company's name. I just, that's the one I picked. But nowadays, yes, we still go because we see the goal M, right? But the thing about in products and services nowadays, the people have to trust you. They just not going to buy. They actually have to trust you, your brand. It's a whole different scenario. Isn't it, Allison?
Yes, absolutely. So you said a few great things in that. People do have to know, like, and trust you before they actually, work, decide to work with you. So what my gift is compelling people to share their truth. And because I've had so many, unfortunate circumstances in my life, and I got to a place where I told all the truth. So now I hold nothing back. Like, everything is public. It's not like, like you said, you want to testify but we know that we have, in most cases, we've sometimes had negative experiences and we take it out on everybody. So now we're like, I'm not saying that, or that person can't help me and I'm not telling. But when you say truth makes you free, it is true. And I compel people to share their truth. And I have women all over that they'll contact me and they'll say, you know what, I've never told anybody this before, but I feel like I can tell you. And it really is true because it's my mission that you can't really move forward until you're free. And I lived in one of those houses too where everything was a secret. It's like, you don't leave out of my house and tell my business. So we as women, we go around and that's our motto. It's like, everybody don't need to know your business. Well, maybe not everybody, but you do need to find some people that you can share with. Because until you're able to share and just unravel all of the things that's going on in your life personally, they make you sick. Your secrets make you sick. That's where the stress comes in. That's where, you find yourself having these illnesses and sicknesses and you can't function. And, we're taking all different types of prescription medication. And I'm not knocking that because I had my period of where, I was taking prescription medication as well. But there comes a time where in order for you to work creatively, and you said it earlier as far as purpose is concerned, your mind has to be clear to be able to work in a creative setting. So what most of us fail to do is to have that clarity of mind to be able to have a workspace that's already in us. Everything that you were created to do is already in you. But we got so much mess, on top of secret, on top of past, on top of negativity, just piled on top of it. You got to start to scratch at the surface so that all of those things that are already there, you can bring them to light. But if you got so much stuff going on in your life that you're burying, that's why we start and stop. We start and stop. Have a great idea, get it moving, and then we fall back into it. because those issues of our past continue to rise to the surface, per se. So you got to be able to find someone that you trust, and it might not be necessarily a platform like mine. Like I tell everybody my business. I'll have people come to me and say, I have a question, it's kind of personal. I'm like, it's not personal. Whatever it is, I'm going to answer it honestly, because that was very freeing for me. And that's what allows other people to say, well, if you could tell all your business and all that stuff you went through, dang, mine doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah. What I've even noticed, because excuse me, with ministry, you mean when I say ministry, because all of us have a ministry, but even with preaching from the pulpit, I thought, Allison, that God was going to tone me down. I thought I wasn't going to be happy, to cracking jokes and doing illustrations and that. And the point I'm saying that is, even what has really helped people in the body of Christ now is the ministers being somewhat more, I want to say transparent. And again, you don't go tell all your business.
Yes.
Of course, you'll know what to say. But still, we need to actually have people in our life like, Allison, life coaches that actually can get us on track, because, it's a hard thing that you have, like you said, and that just made me kind of leap a little. You have all these wonderful ideas when you get in the middle of it, or you try to get a team to back you, you're not even confident in it. And it's a wonderful idea.
Yes. And it's because of it's because of the negative relationships or the things that have happened to you before. You need someone to help you walk through that. If you always come up with ideas, let's think the first people that we go to when we have a great idea is like our friends and family. But you know what? They kind of know us the best. So as great as we think it is, they're like, oh, Dr. Renee, you always have great ideas. Yeah, that's just one of those other things that you got going on. They may be supportive, or they'll remember every failure that you had, and they're like, well, why do you want to do that? Well, when are you going to have time to do that? Well, nobody's going to pay for that. Well, why don't you just do this? Why don't you just get a real job? There's all different types of things. And if you don't have, coaches are there to tell you the truth, yes, for one. But they're also there to motivate you and empower you. And coaches don't necessarily say, okay, yeah, no, you can't do that. What my role is to help you discover the ways that you can do it, whatever it is. I don't care how crazy it may sound. I don't care how big it is. My job is to make you see how it's attainable. How can you get to that? Okay, so let's just say you want to start this business, and it's, you want to, have something that goes all across the globe. Well, I'm going to support you in that. But what I may show you and help you uncover is, okay, how do I get that started locally? Because a lot of times, too, the reasons why we have unfulfilled goals and dreams is because we start them off feeling like we have to attack the big picture, when really there's ways to moderately move towards that, and we turn our goals into steps. And that's something that I teach people how to do as well. Like it's easy to just say, okay, I want to lose 25 pounds. I could say, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 25 pounds. And then what happens? You keep getting on the scale and you're not losing or you're gaining. But what I would help you do is break it down into how can we do this weekly or daily, not just 25 pounds overall. And what do you really want? You don't really want to lose weight. You want to be healthy. You want to fit into those jeans that you see hanging in your closet. So it just shifts your mindset. And it's obvious that we can't do things alone, because if we could, we'd already have them. We always need mentors and coaches and people around us to help keep us on track and for accountability.
I'm up here just about to fall out, because let me tell you, I'm transparent, ladies and gentlemen, and I know we're coming down to the end, but I have to say this. That was a major breakthrough in my whole life, because I'm coming, I still do anesthesia sometimes. Anesthesia is more of a fact, FACTS. Of course, every patient is different, and things are just different. If I write an order, it's going to get done within a matter of time. Quickly. But one thing, what I call this, what I do not, is corporate America. That's just my term, corporate America. Going back to what he said, people got to like and trust you, but the key is, just like I do in anesthesia, is systems. You got to have a roadmap for something, or it's not going to get done.
Yes. And that's exactly right. And that's where my system came into play. So I worked the system myself. I said, okay, if I have a woman who has, had some kind of a life setback, maybe, it's the end of a relationship. Maybe it's a divorce. Maybe it's the loss of a loved one. Maybe your child is no longer school age, and now you can't hold their hand across the street and give them a kiss in front of everybody at school. Whatever that is that you deem as some sort of transition or setback in your life where there's a major change. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you're moving from one place to another. Maybe you're transferring from a 9-to-5 traditionally into entrepreneurship. All of those things are things that could cause you to have a setback if you don't have finances coming in the way that you used to. And then you just find yourself stuck, and then that's where most people give up. So I look at my own personal life, and I look at the major setbacks that I have, and then how did I overcome them? And I actually created a system. It's called the Prison Break Success System, and that's where we work. We work from that system. It's 5 steps in the system. They're simple steps, but it does take work on your part. So it's you got to know who you are. You have to know what that means. You have to accept where you've been. You got to know where you're going, and you got to know how to get there and have help. And that's pretty much anything that you want to accomplish. You follow those steps that I developed, and you put the effort in, and you have that, just that drive, and that vision is clear for you. You'll see some things happen, and it doesn't have to take a really long time.
Yeah. Oh Lord, you got to make me shout almost. But that is amazing. Now, one thing I have learned is when to be quiet, and this is really what I think needs to happen right now. I want you to speak on, because I've met so many people that have had, unfortunate, and I have had myself also, unfortunate or fortunate, because you learn from it. So I usually say it's fortunate. When you actually had coaches, you spent coaches, I ain't gonna say mentors, because mentors, sometimes, depending on what kind of mentor, it's usually not a compensation or investment included. But everybody, a lot of people, especially myself, and a lot of people have had a lot of coaches, and they didn't get to that quote unquote result that they thought, and so they fearful of, or they don't get coaches or get someone in their life that actually can help them go to the next destiny. They have a shield up so heavy that they can't even get the help. And I can even say that even from if they need to talk to a minister or a counselor. Talk on that, because I think that's a big concern right now in the day we living in now. And then after that, if you don't mind, please tell us how we can contact you with your products and services, and how we can support you on social media.
Yes. Okay. So I know that, sometimes people are hesitant, but when you're ready, you're ready. And when you are really open to making a change, you will meet the person who you are destined to be connected to help you. So, yes, we all have had unfortunate situations where maybe it wasn't what we thought, but in most cases, it comes back, the responsibility is on us for not necessarily being ready. And just like anything else, like an interview, you interview a coach, and a coach is interviewing you. I don't accept everyone that requests to be my client. My clients are pretty much handpicked, because what I do is I have a consultation. It's a complimentary consultation. I find out what it is that you need. I get a little bit of background on you, and then I can determine if I feel like I'm a good fit, and I'm only accepting clients who I feel like I really can help. And that's where the responsibility comes in between, with an agreement. It's like, okay, now that I told you that I can help you, that I'm confident that I can help you, because you gave me a little bit of background, you told me what it is you can do, I can pretty much guarantee if you do what I say do, in the next 90 days, this is what you're going to see. Now I need to know from you, what is your expectation? Because what people don't really recognize is there's a responsibility role on both parts. And if we can admit, which is the biggest part of moving forward, is you jumped into something without knowing all the details. You saw that button online, you clicked it, you said, yeah, sign me up. And then you spent your money, and it's not what you thought. But maybe it just wasn't a good fit, but you didn't do due diligence on your part to find out what it really entailed. Sometimes people say, yeah, I signed up for this online course, but really they're not self-motivated enough to do something online. They need something that's a little bit more in-person or tangible. So it's just a matter of having a good fit. So what we have to do is we got to understand, okay, same thing. You got to move past that. You can't keep being blocked because you had a negative experience. We all have had something of that sort. So you just quit because, you want to say, oh, every time I do it, it doesn't work. Well, maybe you have to do a little bit more digging and find out what it is that you want. If you're ready to make the commitment, are you going to invest the time? And are you really just sick and tired of being sick and tired enough to make some things happen? So that's the work that I do. So what I do is I do a quiz, and it's a free quiz on my website, and that's at prisonbreakcoach.com. And it literally says, it asks you, how stuck are you? If you go to my website, click on that link to see how stuck you are, get your results, and then we can kind of see where is it that you're really stuck and what areas of your life really demand the most attention, and we can see if we're a good fit.
I love it. You're just amazing. I just love it, Allison. Ooh, Allison, you're amazing. First of all, I want to say thank you for being in your purpose. That's the main thing. But thank you so much for being here with us on Good Deeds. I mean, I've learned a lot, and I know the listening audience have, and we for sure will share your information through our social media and our network so people can connect, so they actually can have that breakthrough that they can actually walk in their destiny. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Absolutely. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, please reach out to me through my website.
Oh, well. Woo, oh, man. Well, thank you. Woo, ladies and gentlemen, now that was a powerful session. I know it was. You don't even have to say, I know you're going to get some feedback from that. But the thing about it is we need to remember that it is people to help. I mean, really, truly, truly people to help you, okay? But, here at Good Deeds, if we don't know the answer, we will find it and research it for you, okay? The thing about it is you got to remember, you do have a purpose. You have a reason that you were born, number one. You have a reason that you are in the world right now. You have to do the three things. You got to believe, you got to trust, and you got to walk it out. You have to don't stop. You have to get it, right? Well, this is Dr. Renee Sunday. This is Good Deeds. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.